Okay. Right. So, so my name is Terry. So I'm a faculty member in the Department of Mechanical Engineering and Engineering Science at UNC Charlotte. And I'm also the graduate program director. So I started as a, sorry, as a fellow. So it's kind of during the pandemic. I think it started in fall 2020. And I officially graduated in last summer. I think I got my, thing, So I'm happy to share the plan we have, So what happened is the time, so when I was a fellow, so I'm also was charged, so to do a so-called 5-year, review of our graduate program. I started as a graduate program director in 2019, so it's kind of late 2019. And then I got a chance to pull out the data. And then what I find, so it's as you can see in this slide is first is talking about, so the students population, so their race, those things. So our program actually have a quite big, so PhD student, number of PhD students. We have about 70 to 90 PhD students, depending on the year there. So, and then we look at it, so 5-year data. So, and I'm not sure whether you guys can see it. So, but the conclusion we got is, so the percentage of the traditional UIM students in our program is actually very, very low. So I can tell, so we don't have any African-American students, so actually in our program probably for more than 2 decades, so, so that's where I joined the department for about 2 decades. The second thing, so in other, so Latino student, we probably only have 1, like that, very, very low. Right? So the other thing, so we look at it is talking about the students, so graduation, so for our program and in our campus, so when the student come in, the financial aid, the financial support they got is usually 5 years. So that's what we are looking at to see whether the student can graduate within 5 years. So what you're seeing is, so depending on when the student join us, and then this 5-year graduation rate, it varies, so although we do have a lot of, so student can graduate in 6 years, some of them maybe graduate in 7 years. So then we find that out, the conclusion we have is, so it's only about 50% of PhD students can graduate within 5 years. So why that happens, right? The other thing, I don't have the data, I don't have the information shown on this slide is we also looking at, because AGEP, one goal is we want to kind of to increase the, so the number of the UM student who goes into the academic field. So we find that out 95% of our students are not, so are not working in the academic field. They are all goes to the industry. So then we decided, okay, so what we need, so it's not just a diversity plan there. So we need a plan to improve the overall learning experience, not just for the UM student, but for all the students. So then we have a couple of, discussion during the faculty meetings. So the obstacles we have, so we need a more UIM student, but we also need to think about the enrollment, right? So, and then we also talking about, so we received a lot of, so applications, those students who don't have a background in the engineering. So how can we get them in, so that's how to effectively recruit students with background other than mechanical engineering, and also how to build up the pipeline to recruit the UIM students. And then the questions we also have how to improve this 5-year graduation rate. And we have so many students are working in the industry. Can we engage them and have them to give back, so and also provide, so some professional development, so advice to the current students, right? Also, another thing is we do have some faculty, some students who are interested to become a professor, but then their current advisors, they'll just say, okay, focus on research. So those students always talk with me. They want to be a teaching assistant, so, but then the faculty members say, no, you need to focus on research. So that's we put on, how to provide a special training so to students who are interested in academic jobs. So then we have the plan. So it's also in 3 categories, similar like the previous presenter, so recruitment, retention, graduation, and also the alumni engagement. So that's what I wrote in the plan. So I submitted last year, so the first part is the recruitment, right? So, and they are all in blue. That means we already take the action on it, so the first thing is we want to offer the competitive graduate assistantship. And I think I got a lot of support, so from the department heads. I think we have a 4 different engineering department in our college. And at that time, so when I started, I was a fellow, it's talking about the 9-month stipend is 18,500, so, and our department, so as a lead, we just said, okay, we are going to raise it to kind of the 20,000. It's still, I know, not comparable to what NC State is giving, so, but I think we take the leads, so, and I think it's just within UNC Charlotte, the College of Engineering, so ME department and the ECE, so be able to do that. I think that's the step we did. We also review the possibility to waive the GRE requirements, so, and also the application fee to increase the number of applicants. We did waive the GRE, so, but we probably will still, so the reason we waive the GRE is because during the pandemic, students cannot take the GRE, especially international students. But we every year right now, so we are having a discussion, so to see whether we need to continue this practice or not. But I heard from my colleagues, so we have a lot of international students. So GRE is something we may need to require, so when we review the international students application. And then the third thing we did a lot is to promote the program within our bachelor students, so so early entry master students, so, and master's students. So we now have a lot of the information section, so, and then we have former student panelists, so, and then for those internal students, so they are interested in our program, so they got a chance, so to talk with those current students, the student panelists, worked very, very well, so it's because they don't like to listen, just to hear from me, so they want to hear the real experience from the current student. Worked very, very well, so, and, so in the last 2 semesters, each semester, so we can successfully, so recruit a dozen of the, so our own students to join our program. So I'm very happy about that. Right? We also utilize the networks of the current faculty, students, and alumni to establish the pipeline. So what we did is we, for the student from China, so we have an information section, so to choose all 3 different universities, so I think the pandemic, one good thing come out from the pandemic is everybody can use Zoom now, right? So it's very convenient. So that help, so we can talk with international students overseas. We also have faculty members travel back to Bangladesh, kind of visit 2 or 3 universities, and then try to help the recruitment. So also we update our website. The last bullet point on this slide, I think it's very, very helpful, so we actually, so in last year, I think we recruit our very first, so African-American, so female faculty member. And she is serving as, so advisor, so to help the undergraduate program. We are very happy because I do think we need a role model to convince the UIM student to join us, so, and she is very, very helpful. I think I'm very grateful, so the department heads so did that, so, so that's what we did for our recruitment. And currently, so I'm kind of more working on this retention and the graduation, so, I talk about, so 5 years, so graduation rates is relative, varies there, right? So one reason related to that is in our curriculum, so we have a different milestone there. The first milestone is they need to pass a qualifying exam, so in our catalog, it said, okay, you need to take your qualifying exam in your 3rd semester, so, but didn't, so do that, so since I become the graduate program director, so I just kind of talk with the faculty member, and also we kind of send out a very clear information to the students there. So basically, it took kind of several semesters, so to clear up the queue there, so so right now, so all the students, so they will take their exam, so in the 3rd semester, so, and also what we did there is so try to, it's not we ask the students what you need to do for the qualify. So now after each qualifying exam, so I will conduct an anonymous survey there. So I ask the student to give the feedback, so, and then I present in the faculty meeting, and then we kind of just revise the things. So they, for example, they're talking about, oh, so for the certain mathematics, so exams. So there are 5 questions asked there, but they think so within 3 hours, so that time limit, it's not enough time. So, and then we discussed, we said, okay, you can decide to select 4 out of 5 questions. So we collect the, so the information from the student, and then we respond, so we take the action. I still haven't done, so this black things is the thing, so we plan to do, but I haven't done. I still want to do, so the graduate school has this mentor training to faculty members. So, so my next, step is find a good time so I can coordinate, and then we have that training, so, IDP is something definitely on my, so agenda. So need to get it done, right? So also the student handbook, something student handbook. So we want to get it. Although everything right now is on our kind of the on our website, but I still feel students, they want to have one PDF file so they can kind of go through. They don't want to browse the web page there. One thing is retention, student engagement is what we did is we have a student mixer, so and very, very successful. So this semester we did that. So we have about 50 PhD students. So we have 70 to 80, so 50 students show up, and the faculty member, so also joined. Very, very helpful, so we didn't have it before. So that's kind of what we plan and what we have done. So in terms of get a student engaged and retain them and help them to graduate. Alumni engagement. So I have 3 things listed here. So, but I haven't done anything, so we haven't done anything, but I do want to do something in the next few semesters. I do think so, have more alumni coming back, so to, so to share their information with their successful story with the current students will be very, very helpful. Yeah. So that's what we have. Any questions? Yes.
Well, I could scroll back to something that caught my attention. You don't have one Black faculty member, and I think that situation is all too common. My department is 0, so it's worse. With some department leadership that is DPP, but with your department head, I guess the question is, how is your department going to deal with the additional workload on that faculty member? So probably a magnet for all your Black students in the department. There's a lot of additional work that comes with being the only one, and a lot of work that may not get credit because it's not grants and publications. So I wonder what your department sort of thought that through, how you're going to protect that person,
okay,
so he doesn't remain the only one or become
yeah,
burn out.
Yeah, I understand that. So the person we hired, so right now she is so not on the tenure track. Okay, so she is teaching on the teaching tracks there, so I think the department head is give out a very balanced, workload. So usually teaching faculty members so will teach 3 courses or 4 courses, but I think that teaching faculty member not goes to that is 2 courses, will also spend a lot of time so to kind of advise the undergraduate student and leads the outreach of the undergraduate program. Yeah. So, but I will say so. Our department head, I think that he is very good, so because as a female faculty member, I was asked to, not asked by him, but asked by the college level, asked me to serve on almost all the committee. And then my department head just stood out and kind of say, okay, you guys cannot do that, cannot put Terry on that, all the committees. Yeah, so I think there's a culture there. So I think the leadership, so my department head, so he knows that, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.